Welcome back to another episode of Torqued. So today we're going to put on the Concept One Serpentine pulley system. I've been waiting for this day for a while. Let's go have some fun. Let's head out to the barn. Okay, so we're going to try and install a water pump on the engine. I've got it kind of prepped. You can see I've inserted the studs, these standoff stubs. Now this is the Concept One pulley system that I ordered for Big Block Chevy, and it has the alternator, and it has the AC compressor. It did come with the power steering pump, and there's the short water pump for a Big Block Chevy. So we're going to actually put on a couple of brackets, and then we're going to put on the water pump, and then I have to wait a little bit. We're going to try and get the engine into the frame, and then I'll start putting on the rest of the items. So let's just start off. We got the studs in. They have to be in at least 3/4 of an inch. A lot of this system it has O-rings. It's pretty cool because there's the cutouts for the O-rings. They go on both sides, these pieces of metal. And then we'll put these threaded spacers almost. So let's stand by and be just a second. So the one side slips right over, and you can see I've got an O-ring. I've got some Parco lube on here, which will hold everything in place. So we'll just slide this over. And here's the second side. All right, it has some countersunk screws. So two countersunk larger ones here, and I believe this is a 5/16. I believe these are 3/8. And I always like to use anti-seize on all these bolts going into the engine. This is going to make it easier if we have to replace something later. All right, we'll move on to the other side. All right, we'll go ahead and install the other countersunk bolts. All right, next is the water pump. All right, let's install the water pump. It'll just slide right on the studs. The surfaces are nice and clean. And it uses these standoffs, which we'll just screw right in. You know what? I'm gonna put a little bit of anti-seize on there. Better safe than sorry. If you wonder what's on my crescent wrench, I just threw some tape on there, tried not to mar up the surface. All right, there we go. So now what I'll do is I've got to go in here, and there's little spots that I didn't paint because I didn't know where the water pump and the brackets were going to land. And I'll go ahead and paint those little areas, and then once we're ready and this is back in the frame, I'll go ahead and finish out installing the rest of the serpentine system. All right, so we ended up putting on the headers, and they are a Patriot Mid-Length header. I got them off of Summit. They're really nice. They're already ceramic coated. I saw the reviews on them, and they said that they fit inside 68, 69 chassis. I did find a little bit of a challenge, and that is the dipstick. It was so close, it was pinching from the head to the header. So I had to massage that header a little bit with a rubber mallet. And then also down here, the block, you can see this standoff on the block. It actually was hitting out as well. So we got about an 1/8 inch clearance. Had to massage that a little bit. Otherwise, they fit really well. The reason why I went mid-length is just so that I could keep the exhaust tucked up as high as I can. Last time I had hookers on my 71, and they seem to hang down really low. I really didn't want to spend another $1,500 for the lemon headers. On the other side, they fit really good. I don't see anything that's really close on this. There's a gap on everything all the way around. You can see there's even a gap around the oil filter. So I know I'll end up losing a little bit of horsepower and torque on these Patriots, but I think just for the fact that I have a little bit more clearance and I'll be able to tuck the exhaust up is more of a benefit. So now we'll move on to the accessory drive, and I think it's going to be a little bit more of an easier installation. All right, we're going to continue installation of that Concept One Serpentine system. I'm going to put on the main drive now. I'm going to not use their bolts. They're a little bit too short, so I'm going to use the bolts that came on the ATI dampener and torque these down. All right, I'm going to use a strap wrench on this just to hold it in place, just so I can torque these down. All right, we're going to start on the alternator and all the bracketry along with the power steering pump, try and get all that hooked up. I like to use blue Loctite on all these. To me, it acts like a lube, and of course it's going to keep it from backing out. All right, next to the power steering pump. And there's the pulley. This is pulley for the power steering pump. All right, let's see if we can mount up this alternator. It's got a bracket, 3 bolts, and 2 spacers. And this is a 180 amp alternator. All right, we're going to start hooking up the bracket for the AC compressor. All right, neck is next to the AC compressor itself. All right, later on we will put on the AC compressor. It's these brackets that will go slip underneath here. But we'll do that at a later time, just because I don't want to pull off the caps off of this and expose those to the elements. So we'll just wait to install these. All right, so that pretty much finishes it up for right now for the Serpentine system. I think it's an outstanding kit. All the pieces are there. It's really easy to put together, and I'll show you the finished product. It looks really well. Looks really good. So I will put on the Serpentine belt later on when I get closer to being done, and I will put on the power steering overflow, which will mount somewhere over here on the fender. So yeah, I think this pretty much wraps it up. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you learned something and found that this Concept One pulley system is really well designed. So hope to see you on another episode of Torqued.